All right, guys, so you should correct these as you go through them. When you're all done, make sure you turn in a completed sheet in my front basket so I know that not only did you do it in the first 20 minutes, but you corrected it in the last 20 minutes. And your test is today, so you can just turn this in. So first thing, make sure your note card's out. Without that, it tends to be twice as hard, so make sure that note card is sitting on your desk, and we'll reference it as we go through. So on number 1, we're looking for the length of the mid-segment. That's this one. So you'd go to your note card, and you see what it says about the mid-segment. And it's going to talk about long sides and short sides. And it's going to say that the long is equal to 2 times the short. And so what we're going to do is grab this long side, which is 3x plus 10, and we're going to set it, sorry about the bell, we're going to set it equal to 2 times the short side. So in doing this, we're going to solve it for x. So I'll dump this 2 in here, do a little algebra. So you should correct as you go. All your points today for participation are for correcting this and turning it in. So I dump that in. Next thing I need to do is get the variable on one side. So we'll do a little algebra here. And I get 10 is equal to 3x minus 2. And again, I'm trying to solve it for x. So I'll add 2 to both sides, getting 12 equal to 3x. Then I'll divide both sides by 3, getting x is 4. Be very careful that you don't think you're done. And I got to glance up and see what the question is. If it said to find x, I'm done. But this one says to find the length of the mid-segment. So when I'm looking for the length of that mid-segment right here, I need to figure out the length of this. So I need to take that 4, and I need to put it in for x. So the length of my mid-segment would be 3 times 4, which is 12, minus 1, which is 11. So that is the answer to the question. So again, we talked about that yesterday. Make sure you answer the question asked. Another thing we talked about yesterday is when in doubt, set them equal. Actually, this mid-segment thing is one situation where you don't set them equal, but you can see that they're not equal. So I guess I'm going to rephrase that. When in doubt and they look equal, set them equal. So this is saying to find x. We have an angle bisector right here. So I'm going to say that, and I know it's an angle bisector because it's marked as being same distance from the sides. That's all on your note card. But to find x, I'd say 2x plus 20 is equal to 50. So nice and easy. You see this picture, you set those angles equal to each other. Subtract the 20 from both sides. So be gone here, and you have 30 over here. Divide both sides by 2. And the answer is x equals 15. And again, just like yesterday, always make sure that you're done with the question asked. What did it ask me to do? Find x. What have I circled? X. If it said to find the angle measure, I'd go plug it back in. Number 1.5 I added as an afterthought, but when it says which angle is the largest, remember this exterior is equal to B plus C. So it's got to be bigger than them, and it looks bigger. So that exterior angle is the biggest angle in that situation. Number 3, list the angles from smallest to largest. So remember, the smallest angle is across from the smallest side and vice versa. The smallest side is across from the smallest angle. So I only put one example of this up here because it works both ways. So if I want the smallest angle, I go look for the smallest side and I head across from it. So if I'm asked what is the smallest angle, I say angle B. If I'm asked what is the largest angle, I go across from the largest side. But this one said to list them. So that's small, across from the smallest side. Then I go to the middle and head across. So the medium angle would be angle A. And then the largest angle would be angle C. So again, to get the longest angle, go across from the longest side. To get the longest side, go across from the longest angle. It might ask you to compare this side, AB, with this side over here, CB. And if it says, how do these compare? Well, the one across from the bigger angle is bigger. So I'd say CB is bigger than AB. So that you might have to do some comparing. But again, it boils down to longest side across from biggest angle and vice versa. This is right off your note card. It's on the back and it's towards the bottom, so make sure you know that you can always look there if you don't remember. Can these be the sides of a right triangle? They can if, when I grab 4 and add 5 to it, it's bigger than 8. That's true. 9 is bigger than 8, so far I can't say no. Then I grab 5 and 8 and I add them up, and I get a 13. That's bigger than 4. And then I grab the other two, 4 and 8, and I get 12, and the red dots are bigger than 5. So this would be yes. My guess is if this is multiple choice, they'll give you 4 choices, like an A, a B, a C, and a D, and it'll say which ones can be the sides of a right triangle. This, let's do actually 2 and a 5 and a 3. This one can't be because 2 plus 3 doesn't outstretch the 5. If you had this one can't be because 3 plus 4 doesn't outstretch the 7. This one can't be because 2 plus 1 isn't bigger than 5. This one can be because 2 plus 3 outstretches 4, 3 plus 4 outstretches 2, so it would be D. So you actually have to test them separate if it's multiple choice. So how about this one? Does 3 plus 4 outshoot 2? Yes. Does 4 plus 2 outshoot 3? Yes. Is 3 plus 2 bigger than 4? Yes. So these were both yeses. The sum of every 2 is bigger than the third. Number 5, 2 sides of a triangle have lengths 8 and 14. Write an inequality for the third side, x. And again, if this is multiple choice, you're going to have to match it. And this is on the back of your note card. It's one of the last things we did, so let order that we did things in help guide you on your note card. But you're going to see a bunch of x's squeezed between 2 numbers. Remember to get the top number on your note card, we wrote plus. What that means is you do 8 plus 14, and you put a 22 right here. On your note card, we put a minus over here, so you do 14, subtract 8, and you get a 6, and if it's multiple choice, you choose this guy. Make sure it's strictly less than, so if they have one like this, don't pick it. So you have to be squeezed between, but not equal to. So there's 5 of them. Next one up, number 6. Make sure you always go mark up the paper copy. So if angle BDA is 93, make sure you go from B to D to A and put a 93 in here. It says, what is the relationship between AB and BC? What they want you to do is state who's bigger, like write an inequality for it. So remember, the one across from the bigger angle is bigger. The problem is I don't know this one. So remember when we did it on the homework, we'd say, well, they make a line together. So I'm going to subtract the one they gave me from 180. So question mark is an 87. So when it asks what is the relationship between AB and BC, because 93 is bigger, AB is bigger than BC. One of your challenges is going to be to sort out the answers, because if this is multiple choice, it's going to look like alphabet soup. They're going to say, well, AD is bigger than BD and DC is bigger, and you're going to have to find the one that says the one across from the bigger angle is bigger than the one across from the small angle. So you're going to have to slow your roll a little bit on those. Number 7, what is the circumcenter? This would be off the front of your note card. So you'd go to the circumcenter column. You'd go to the right triangle. We did a circumcenter for right, acute, and obtuse. It'll say that it's on it, and it'll say that it's in the middle, and this is all on your note card, of the hypotenuse. So if you've graphed these points on a grid really carefully, then you go to the middle of the hypotenuse, This guy right here is the circumcenter. And you'll be on graph paper most likely, so you would just have to pick off those coordinates. So if it's on the coordinate system and it was 1, 2, 3 over and 1, 2, 3, 4 up, you'd say it's at 3, 4. Then you'll go to your note card, and it says, where's the orthocenter? And on your note card, you're going to go to orthocenter, you're going to go to right triangle, and it's going to say that it's on the corner at the right angle. So you're going to pick up these coordinates right here. So if that's 3, 4, 5, 6, you would say that that's at 6, 1. And I know I didn't have that on an actual grid. So just go ahead, that's how I'll know if you watch this video, is make sure you go ahead and add the graph grid to this. Otherwise, I'll assume you didn't. So when it says to name each segment, again, these are on the back and the front, but probably easier off the back. We have 4 names. We have medians, we have altitudes, we have perpendicular bisectors, and angle bisectors. I think the angle bisector is the easiest because they always show an angle being chopped. Anytime you see these, it's angle bisectors and your answer is in center for whatever the point of concurrency is. But this line right here is called an angle bisector. This one right here goes through a vertex. So on my note card, I'd pick the one that says through a vertex. It's not going to the middle of the opposite side. It's dropping down at a right angle. And on the back of your note card, you'll have written that that is an altitude. And lastly, this one, I'm just going in reverse for no particular reason. Just feel like it. This is connecting a vertex to the middle of the opposite side. And that's the definition of a median on the back of your note card. Will you be asked all 4 of them? No. On this one, I put 3 of them, but a perpendicular bisector would go through the middle at a right angle. So it'd look like this, and these would be marked. That's the one I didn't have on there, was the perp bisector. Second to the last one. P is the centroid. So I'm going to go in here, right here. I'm now on the front of my note card, and I'm looking at my information about a centroid. And then I go see it, what they're giving me, B to D. So on your centroid column of the note card, it says, how do you make it? And it says, by drawing the medians. And then in the next column, it says, what are its properties? And you should have written on here that the short equals the long divided by 3. You should have that the medium is 2 times the short, or the short is the medium divided by 2. It depends on what one you're given. So on this one, when it says find D to P, that's the short one. The short is the long divided by 3, and they told me that the long is 12. So this would be 12 divided by 3, which is 4. That means this little red piece right here is 4. And then on your note card, it says to get the medium piece, which would be here from B to P, it says you do 2 times the short. So you're going to say 2 times the short, which gives you 8. If you do it right, by the way, your short plus your medium better equal your long side. So you'll be good at that. All right, there's for sure one like that, so make sure you follow your note card. When it tells you it's a centroid and it starts talking about these lengths, you have to decide long, medium, or short. This one, once I drew it, was this yellow one, which is the long side. So make sure you, what am I given? How do I go from long to short? I divide by 3. Just let that note card do the walking. And last, number 10. What must be true about BC across from a 33-degree angle and EF across from a 52-degree angle? When you're across from the bigger angle, you're longer. So what I know is one of 2 things. It depends. If it's multiple choice, I choose one of these 2 things. I either say that BC, the yellow one, is less than EF. It's a cross from a smaller angle when the sides are the same. Or If that's not there, I'm going to look for EF being bigger than BC. So just make sure that you choose one where you're eating the longer side. Even on this one, I'm eating the longer side, just so you get it ordered correctly. All right, that's all done. Make sure you turn it in with a name on it. I'll know if you did it because of all the writing we just had to add. You'll have stuff like this on here, stuff like this on here, and this and that, and all kinds of writing. So make sure you turn that in so you get credit for participation today. Have a good one, guys. Good luck on your test today. This covers about half of it, I'd say.